Okay, I see we are live. Customize your dashboard, all sorts of. Fair enough, we are live. We're going to talk today about impostor syndrome. And in the description, I wrote in a quote. The quote is this: I feel compelled to think of myself as an involuntary swindler. I feel compelled to think of myself as an involuntary swindler. Who do you think said this quote? Albert Einstein, one of the most brilliant men acknowledged in our world. Albert Einstein said, I feel compelled to think of myself as an involuntary swindler. He felt like an impostor, he felt like a fraud. And so, what we're going to talk about today is the feeling that I'm a fraud, and this feeling that one day I will be found out as being one, and being a fraud, and how actually the more brilliant you are, the more you feel like that. Last week I mentored a woman in our public speaking club. I attend Toastmasters. It's a great way to start public speaking, get comfortable with public speaking, and learn the techniques of public speaking. We have a great club, one of the most skilled clubs in Glasgow. I can state that because people from our club are winning contests year after year. So I was mentoring this lady, and she was about to deliver or preparing to deliver her first speech, and she is a brilliant lady. Like she is preparing for a big speech in June. She is also an artist. She creates these amazing glass sculptures, and she won an a first place, an award, because she sculpted this glass flower. And the first I saw the picture, I thought it's a real thing. It's some kind of created by nature, where the ice maybe took up the shape of a flower, because it was so real. So it was really good. She is a brilliant lady, and her first speech was actually about impostor syndrome. And she shared with me how she feels often like an impostor. Like even with that award, she thought that they made some kind of mistake, that she doesn't deserve it, right? And that's quite a common experience, is that we think that, we just swindling in our craft, and we doesn't really belong there, and someday someone will knock on our door and, you know take us away, or say that you are a fraud, you will be found out one day. And actually, the one thing that we did, that I gave her as an assignment, is to deliver a bad speech, to deliver an imperfect speech. And if you would saw her face just smiled right away, because now she don't have to make a perfect speech. She can be just as she is. You could feel the weights dropping off of her shoulder, and 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 that's one very important thing. So the reason we feel like an imposter are two reasons. One is that there is this feeling inside which we want to go away. And she shared how she feels anxious about her first speech, and if she could just get away from it, everything would be good. But actually, that won't solve the problem. The solution is quite the opposite, and it's counterintuitive. We want to fix ourselves, but that never fixes the problem. Actually, we have to go the other side. We have to be with the problem. So the assignment we came up with is to deliver an imperfect speech as it is. And if the anxiety comes up if she feels, or when she feels the butterflies, and like, this gonna be a failure, then simply just be aware of it and be with that and deliver the speech with that. And she became much lighter right away. Of course, like, there is always the fear of facing with these things the first time, but that's how you can live in this place, and that's how you can kind of master this place. The other reason why we feel imposters is because the way we feel inside doesn't match with the way that others look outside. And social media is a great place to feel like an imposter, because everyone looks so great on social media, and we don't know how they feel at night. We don't know the doubts they going over when they building that project, and so on. There is this great analogy. I found a picture online. I really loved it. When there is like a fabric, and you know someone sewed or sewed like a beautiful ornament on this fabric and decorated beautifully with colored threads. So from this side, this fabric looks amazing, looks brilliant, but on the other side, the threads going all over, you see all the making of the pattern. And that's how we brilliant people are, is that from the front we look brilliant, but on the other side we have all of our workings, how we feel at night when we're tired, and how we feel between projects, and feeling like we don't have the right skills, and we have to face with our doubts and fears and all of these. So being an imposter, feeling like you are an imposter, is actually that dissonance between how you feel and how you think others feel, or how others look outside. So you don't think that others feel the same way. Therefore, the other good antidote to the imposter syndrome is to talk with people and talk about it, and know that they feel the same way. Preparing for or doing research on imposter syndrome, I found there are a lot, like dozens of TEDx talks online. And I was thinking, why is that? Because once people realize that they are not alone, they want to speak about it. And once they speak about it, these videos become very popular, because everyone feels like that. Everyone has the experience. The illusion is that we think that only we feel like an imposter from time to time. Even now, I have all of these thinking like, oh, I'm recording this the second time. I didn't hit the button first time. Oh, now I'm nervous. Now I'm screwing up my speech. All of these things. So that's always going on. But the only way you can do brilliant things is to learn being in that place. I created a YouTube video not so long ago on how to be courageous and bold. And it's a lot to do with the ability to be with things. You can also call it tension skills, because fear and doubt comes with a tension. Experiencing these unpleasant experiences is a tension, right? And once you develop your tension skills, or as you develop your tension skills, you will be able to be with these uncomfortable feelings more and more. And as you become comfortable with the uncomfortable more and more, you can step into this place of unknown, where often you have doubts and feeling like an imposter. Even you can step into that and you can do great things. But that you can be bold and courageous. But that it all starts with tension skills, and that's where mindfulness comes in as well. Because through mindfulness, you practice tension skills as well. When you sit in meditation and thoughts and feelings come, and you are aware of that, and you are with that, and you're not reacting to that, you just let them come, stay, and go, then you building tension skills. So there are many great ways you can build tension skills. Recently, I started to do the Wim Hof breathing again with cold showers. That's a great way to practice tension skills as well, because in the Wim Hof breathing, there is a long period of breath hold, and there are some intense feelings or bodily sensations going on as well. And actually, you're facing death when you're holding your breath as long as you can. So fear, the survival mechanism will come up, and being in that place is tension skill. When you go into the shower, have you ever tried complete cold shower? That's definitely tension skill as well. So the tension skill is there to face with what is, and that's a basis of learning how to be courageous and bold and do create great stuff. So one of the guy in the TED talk shared his experience that he won business awards one after the other. I think there were like 3 rounds, and he won all of those, and how he felt like a fraud all along. And after the third final round, as he won it, he went to a big lunch, and he met with one of his hero, who is an even bigger businessman. And after a bit of food and drink, they went deeper into the conversation, and he confessed. He confessed, like, look, I don't think I should be here. I feel like a fraud. I feel like they made some kind of mistake, and I'm afraid one day I'm going to be found out. And the other guy said, his hero said, look, that's how I feel every day. So the interesting thing is that we believe that we need more education, we need more skills, we need to accumulate more success or more this and that, and one day we're gonna stop having these imposter syndrome thoughts. But actually, the more we live into the unknown, the more courageous we live, the more we face with that thought. And again, that thought doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to define your actions. That's just a thought. Another example, I'm an artist. When I play or when I play the guitar or paint a picture, I can have no thoughts about it and just be really present. And actually, then I'm living in a place of creative potential. Or I can have a lot of thoughts on top of that, have the thoughts of doubts and being an impostor and fraud, and then I still in the creative place. I'm just having these uncomfortable thoughts and feelings on top of that. But if I'm aware of that, I can still, I can be not reactive of my thoughts and feelings and just stay in that creative place and connect to it more. And after a while, you might just realize that that thought and feeling just passed because you didn't grasp to it. You let it to be there, and it just passes naturally. So you see, there is this place of unknown, the creative potential where things happen, where brilliant things happen. And often we have these impostor thoughts on top of that. And if we buy into it, if we get scared, we want to run away, and it's going to run our life. But if we aware of that, and with tension skills, we stay with it, we're not going to grasp to it, and it will eventually pass. And all left is the creative potential. And that's where great things happen. That's where courage, that's where boldness exists. That's where creativity exists. That's where potential exists. That's where your dream project exists. That's where your dream money exists. Why am I saying that? Because asking for or stepping into that project is requires courage, requires creativity. Asking for that money requires courage, requires maybe creativity in some way. Or asking for your needs in the relationship requires courage and maybe creativity. When I'm saying creativity, it's like when you step into this place of unknown and let things happen. If things are, if you know how things are, if you live in that place where you know how things are, all you create is the same thing. If you live in the place where failure is a true option, there you can create new things. That's how things are. If things are already known, it's what already exists. If things are unknown, there can be new things, but that's scary, and there can be impostor syndrome as well. So what have we thought about so far? Let's sum up and kind of wrap up this session around impostor syndrome. We talked about Einstein, how even he feels, and how actually the more we live in the place of brilliance, the more these thoughts can come up. We talked about how there are two things, really, yeah, two things you need to master or overcome, not overcome, to master living in this place. One is to be with it, tension skills. The second is simply to know. It's an insight. It's a distinction to know that others exactly feel like you. Like it's a common human experience to have doubts and to feel like an impostor from time to time. So it's absolutely normal, and you don't have to do things perfect. You just have to do things the best you can right now and learn. What else did we talk about? Um, yeah, yeah. These are the things that's yeah. We talked about that this is um, the place of unknown, the creative place which is full of potential, and the reason we're talking about imposter syndrome, the reason we're talking about um, creativity and courage and living in this place is because that's where new things can only be created in any area of our life. I hope that this was useful. I would love to hear from you. This was the first time in a long time I did this. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna just drop once in a while in a creative way. I'm figuring out my own ways around engaging and creating content. So give me feedback. What did you like? What you didn't like, or area of opportunity, and would you like to have more of these? I would love to hear from you. I'm having you in my heart, and have a lovely day. Till next time. See ya.